Hey everybody, it's Emily at ARG Schooling, and welcome back to another Homeschool Tidbit. So welcome to Build Your Library's Homeschool Tidbits, episode 13, on feeling behind. In this weekly video series, I'll delve briefly into a topic related to homeschooling, and I'll share some of my knowledge and expertise as a long-time homeschooling mother of 4 children, 3 of whom have graduated. Today, I want to talk about something that seems to be a common and reoccurring feeling amongst homeschool parents, particularly this time of year. The feeling that you're falling behind can be overwhelming. I want to start with a caveat. I'm not talking about children with legitimate learning difficulties or actual educational neglect. That's not what we're discussing today. I'm talking more about the fear that so many of us have grappled with over the course of homeschooling that we aren't doing enough. Maybe you have prying neighbors contributing to the negative thoughts about your homeschooling. Perhaps your mother-in-law is always warning you that your children aren't keeping up with their cousins. Maybe you have a lot of support, but you feel like everyone around you just is doing so much more. Maybe your life is in upheaval and you just haven't been able to spend as much time on academics as you feel that you should. Pause for a minute. Just take a deep breath. Take another deep breath. Relax. Every homeschool parent feels like this at some point in their journey. And I want to address that fear today. First, you're doing a fantastic job. Huzzah! Your child is loved, fed, happy, and secure. And that alone is so important. You clearly care a great deal about the welfare of your child, or you wouldn't be spending so much time worrying about it. We all want what's best for our children. That's why we chose to homeschool in the first place. But with that comes the fear that we're going to mess up. Whenever someone says they feel like their child is behind, I wonder, behind what? What arbitrary guidelines are you using to compare your child to? Yes, there are specific things that all of our children need to learn. But for the most part, it doesn't matter when they learn it, as long as they do. Of course, once you reach the high school years, there are more specific parameters that you need to work within. But even then, it all really depends on what your state requires and what your child plans to do after they graduate. Let me tell you, it was a great relief that advanced calculus and quantitative physics was not a prerequisite for art school. I feel like most people I speak with aren't even talking about high school yet. They're still in the elementary years, and guys, you have so much time ahead of you still. In those elementary years, all you really need is to give them a good foundation. Can they read? Can they do basic mathematics? Are they writing their letters? Can they compose a sentence? If you answered yes to all of those questions, perfect. You're not behind. And when I say all those things, I mean by the end of their elementary years. So like, if they're 6 years old and they're not doing these things, you've got time. All children are unique, and they will come to knowledge at their own pace. Something I think we forget is that children all learn and grow at their own pace, and they all have their own individual talents and abilities. We tend to think in terms of the public school system, with 25 students that all must stay on the same page as everyone else in the room, or all 8-year-olds must be doing this, this, and this, period. But we really need to let that go. We left traditional schooling behind for a reason, so why are we still conforming to their system and stressing ourselves out about it? At any given time, my kids have been learning various subjects at various grade levels. Maybe we're ahead in math, but behind in language arts. That's totally fine and also completely normal. You know your child best. Rather than worrying about staying on top of an arbitrary grade level, ask yourself these questions instead. Are they progressing? Have they shown improvement over the course of the school year? Will this delay really matter by the time they're 18? or if they master a concept when they're 9 instead of when they're 7. It's perfectly valid to worry when your child has learning challenges or they seem completely stuck on a concept and are just not progressing for months at a time. But if that's not the case, then it's time to let go of this irrational fear of being behind. Spiders? Totally rational fear. Feeling behind? Not so much. But what do you do if you feel like your child legitimately is behind? If your child is finding a subject exceptionally challenging, there are things you can do to help them catch up. Let go of all the extras for a time. An elementary child doesn't actually need to learn history, science, and geography. Yes, those things are fun and they bring enjoyment and excitement to our homeschooling, but they aren't strictly necessary at this time. What is necessary in those years are the 3 R's. So if that's where your child is struggling, with reading, with writing, with arithmetic, focus on that for a season. There's nothing wrong with taking a year or so to work on skills that they're struggling with, and then just adjust as necessary. If the curriculum you're using isn't working, try something else. Sometimes what is needed is a different approach. My oldest daughter was a natural speller and writing just came easily to her. The Charlotte Mason method, as written, worked beautifully for her. My twins, totally different story. Their spelling was and is atrocious. We tried so many different programs before we found something that kind of worked for them. And you know what? They're 20-year-olds now and they're still not great spellers. But thankfully, spell check exists. My worst speller is currently in college and getting A's on papers. Thank heavens for red squiggles and blue underlines in MS Word and Grammarly. It all worked out in the end, but I spent a lot of time worrying about it. Finally, don't compare yourselves to other homeschoolers. We hear this one all the time, but seriously, don't compare yourself to other homeschoolers. It doesn't matter what anyone else is doing. That's not your family. Don't look at them. This may be one of the biggest challenges you have to overcome. Personally, I'm thankful that in the early days of my homeschooling years, Instagram didn't exist. It must be so stressful to see all those beautiful pictures and to want to make your homeschool look like that. But I've said it before and I'm going to say it again. They're only showing you the best bits of their day. And it's with a filter. And it's all cropping out the clutter in the background. Most homeschoolers do not look Instagrammable. We are a mess, and that is okay. Embrace your individuality. Embrace the chaos of your days. It means we're doing the things. It's so easy to get caught up in worrying that you're not doing what other parents are doing, that they're doing more than you. But don't let that consume you because guess what? It's a lie. You are doing the absolute best for your children. Is it easy? No. But you're fully capable of taking on this challenge. And I promise you, you are not ruining your children. Just take things one day at a time and keep on keeping on. You are doing amazing. If you found this video helpful, I hope you'll check out Build Your Library curriculum. Build Your Library is a secular, literature-rich homeschool curriculum inspired by Charlotte Mason's philosophy of education. Based on nearly 20 years of homeschooling, I created the curriculum I wish I'd had when I started homeschooling my own children. I have spent thousands of hours cultivating the best literature to enhance your child's education. Our lesson plans make homeschooling simple. Just open the lesson plans, gather the books you need, and go. Our easy-to-use lesson plans include everything you need to homeschool. Just add math. Choose from our full-year K-12 levels, as well as our fun topical unit studies. With Build Your Library, you will cultivate a home library filled with captivating literature, and you'll raise children who become lifelong learners. So snuggle up with our lesson plans and a good book or 3, and have your best homeschool year ever. I hope you found today's tidbit helpful. Please come back next week when I'll be sharing more homeschool inspiration. Until next time, happy reading. Bye.